weekend. And before you know it, we are back, PJ. I don't know how long it's been 1 week, 2 weeks, 3 weeks. It's been a little bit. It's the holiday season. You know it as well as I do. It's busy times for me and you, PJ. Is it not?
Yeah, it has been a bit. I feel like every night during the week I'm available, you're not, and then every week
Yeah,
during the week you are, I'm not. So,
it's pretty quick.
apologies for it being quite a bit, but we're back for a very big event that's coming up on Saturday.
Hey,
So,
but this business is all about supply and demand, PJ. The longer you take it away from them, the more they want it. And I know you
yeah,
guys have been itching, dude. I don't know about
itchy.
you, but my phone's blowing up every day. Where's the pod? Get me on the pod. How much money are you guys making on the pod? All this other shit. And I'm like, guys, that is undisclosable. Might I mention, how long have you had that Pac-Man machine? I don't know if I've ever seen
Bad
that
boy.
before. Yeah.
Yeah, we've had it. We've had it for a few years now. I don't know. I haven't ripped a game in a while. Been a working man. Yeah, it's been a bit since that bad boy's been kicked on. I don't know when we got that. It's been a couple years.
That thing looks dusty.
It ain't too dusty, but I might rip some gas
No,
or
it
something.
reminds me. It reminds me of that iCarly episode when they did like basically Pac-Man. Do you remember when Spencer
Yeah,
just like
dude, he
didn't?
won the world. He won. I
He
know what
beat.
you're talking about. I can't remember
Sa-
what game it was called, but
It was like Rat Race or something, and he beat Sasha Stryker. I'm pretty sure.
ah,
Her fine
the
ass.
world champion.
Let it be known, I'm on lunch break right now, so don't mind me munching over here.
Yeah, no. Lunch break. I'm just sitting in my basement. I was watching some UFC 310 countdown before this, but I guess we should waste no time. I mean, obviously, we have a big card coming up. I guess we could briefly mention. I don't. We were talking about it. I don't know exactly all that we missed, but
hmm
I think we obviously missed John Jones. Did we? We didn't.
I don't think we covered that one.
No, we did not cover. Oh no, you did, and
With
I wasn't
Tristan,
there.
with Tristan, yeah.
Kristen, you guys did and gave your picks,
I
but
mean, yeah, and coincidentally, that was I went 5 for 5 on that one. I
did you?
do
Yeah,
believe so.
no. Well, did you have Araujo beating Silva? I feel like we both had
I
Silva. You did? Wow. Then I
No,
think
I didn't. I bet I
you
no
went
wait.
4 for 5. I went 3 for 5 because I jinxed
Yes, you're
Chandler.
right.
I'm a genius. You're welcome. I jinxed Chandler out of a win. Do Bronx won.
That was relieving for everyone. I mean, it was kind of interesting how uncompetitive that fight was until it got scary.
But I was gonna say, like, as great and a masterclass as Charles put on, you knew at one point during the fight you were gonna be, oh fuck.
Oh, and of course it was going to be the fifth round. Of course it was going to be the fifth
After
round
four beautiful rounds of no
when
danger, let's just go in the fifth round and get knocked.
man, bad. Knocked
Bad,
bad, dude.
bad. And some
Uh,
illegal blows to the back of
so
the head.
yeah, dude. Schindler, he's calling out Masvidal now. Those guys can both go rot.
Bro,
Some of my
those guys should have started best of seven series for who's the worst fighter in the division.
Oh man, but yeah, that was a little bit ago. It seems like we're gonna end up getting Jones versus Aspinall. I have my fingers crossed for that.
Fingers crossed.
Um, and then what happened after that? Figgy versus Jan. That was a
Probably the
good
most
one.
competitive, might be the most competitive 50-45 of all time.
Yeah, you're
That
not
or Max
lying.
versus Yair. Two of the
hmm
most competitive 50-45s in the history of the sport.
That was a really good fight. I actually, because that was over in Macau, China,
Yep.
and the event was taking place overnight. I woke up, I remember I woke up, instantly went on my phone to go stream it, and as soon as I opened it, it's literally Peter Yan getting introduced by, was it Buffer or whoever, Joe Martinez,
Wow.
but like could not have timed it better. Like
Really?
I don't think I could think of a way to start the opening 30 minutes of my day than
Yeah.
watching Peter Yan versus
I remember
Peter Yan.
waking up at I set I'm actually a sicko. I set an alarm for 4:45 a.m. to watch. I wanted to watch Ulberg versus Ozdemir really badly, and I was hoping Ulberg would get him out of there in one round or something, so I can go
hmm
back to sleep until the main event. But it went 3 rounds, and somehow I didn't fall asleep at all. And then I was like, all right, might as well watch Wang Kong. She's fighting next. She'll put on a show, and
Oh.
she gets dusted by Gabriela Fernandez. And at that point, I was awake. I was like, holy shit. Like that minus 1700 is what
Yeah.
Wang Kong closed in at, and she
Lot of
lost.
juice. Lot of juice. Whole lemonade stand on Kong.
Then the king of Kung Fu, Muslim Salikov, hit the nastiest spin. It was a spin, I believe, a spinning back kick right to the dome of
Yeah.
Song Kanan.
Hmm.
And I was like, dude, all right, screw it. Maybe the women's fight in the co-main will keep me going. And then that fight
Hmm.
put me to sleep. It was a
Yeah.
good fight, actually. I'll be honest. Tabitha Ricci just not good enough to beat Yan Xiaonan.
Just not good. If you notice, if when you look at a lot of these beautiful, beautiful women in the rankings, a lot of them just actually aren't that good. When you go down the list, Tracy Cortez, she'll never be champ. She's losing to Rose, and Rose isn't that great anymore. Mackenzie Dern, don't know how. Don't even know how she's still ranked. And then you
Me,
got Tabitha Ricci dropping another fight. I think that's 2 losses in her last 3, per chance. Um,
you,
but yeah, as we were saying at the beginning of this episode, Jan versus Figueiredo was must watch. Technical masterclass from Piotr Jan. Nice to see him rewind the clock. We were scheduled to have a conversation last week that ended up playing out where we were going to say like who are we most thankful, like what fighter are we most thankful for this year,
oh
what
yeah, yeah.
and if there is a fighter that I am most thankful for this year, it's Piotr Jan, because he was on a 3-fight skid coming into 2024. And you look at those 2 matchups, especially in a division as stacked at 135. He took on the young prospect Song Yadong, who many see as a future UFC champion. Took him out pretty comfortably. And then he steps into 5 rounds with former flyweight champ Davison Figueiredo, who has been undefeated ever since he moved up, looking dangerous. And he took him out as well.
No, that was a masterclass. It was like you said, it was beautiful to watch because I mean, even though like obviously I do love like Sean O'Malley. There's an argument there that Petr Yan didn't lose. Well, he lost to Marab. That one's for sure. But the back-to-back losses, Aljo, obviously, that was a weird fight. But there was an argument for him beating Aljo the second time. There was an argument for him beating Sugar Sean. So, like you said, he had a rough stretch there, and yeah, he's definitely turned the clock back a little bit. I don't even want to say he turned the clock back because I feel like he's always been super high level. It's not like he's washed. He just had a series of unlucky events, and now, yeah, he had a great 2024. I don't know what's next for him in 2025. He's got I guess, do you have any initial thoughts on who he might get next in the
Well,
35 division?
I know we were texting about it, and we liked the idea of him rematching Sugar Sean. He was talking on Helwani a day or 2 ago, and he asked him about why isn't that fight going to get made, and he says that Sean's going to be out for like 9 to 12 months because he
Yeah,
might be pregnant.
that was really funny.
That was pretty good.
That was
If
really
only,
good.
it's like quotes like that where I'm like, man, if you just no disrespect, but if he could just speak some good English and like say that
He'd be
himself,
great. He'd be a
it would be
stud. He'd be a
great.
superstar.
Because he's dissed Sean before, like at that other press conference. He said that he
That
was
was a really good. Dude,
he
he's
was
funny. He's got some
yeah.
ruthless trash talk. You just can't understand him until the translator says it.
Also, him and his son in the octagon after the
That was
fight. I
really
mean,
cool.
what's better than that? What's better
That
than
is
that?
what mixed martial arts is all about.
I'm sure you saw that trend about like mixed martial arts is all about respect. Did you see that? Like, this is like mixed martial arts is all about respect, and it's like Lyoto Machida bowing to his opponent, yada yada. And then I saw somebody reply to it, and I was like, I once saw a man shoot three arrows into somebody's corpse of a body, and then point at his son in the crowd.
Yeah, that's funny. Unfortunately I didn't see that, but yeah.
Yeah, no, that shit was hilarious. But yeah, I mean, as far as Jan goes, I don't really know. After this, it's 135. It's Murder's Row up in that the bantamweight division. So could be Suga. Marab was calling for that fight because he's just doing everything in his power to not fight Umar, which
Yeah,
is
come
just the
on,
most.
man.
What do you think, PJ? You think that fight's inevitable, Marab versus Umar, or do you think?
I mean, it should be. Like, I mean, there's an argument that people might not like, but like the fact that he might just want to rematch Sean because maybe Sean's a little more popular. But obviously, Sean's not going to be next. I'm just saying, initially, Marab said he wanted to rematch Sean and finish him when I really just think he doesn't want to fight Umar. And I find it kind of crazy because Merab has been like this crazy guy his whole career, saying he's scared of absolutely nobody. And the second he becomes champion, he stops calling everybody. I mean, he's called out a couple people, but the one that everybody wants
Yeah,
to be next, he hasn't even said his name. He's had to
yeah.
be begged about it in interviews, and he gets pissed. There was an interview, I don't remember where or when it was, but somebody asked him about Umar Nurmagomedov being next, and he just stormed off the interview. And
Yeah, no, it's literally it's some corny behavior if I'm not gonna lie. It kind of reminds me of when Leon became champ, because Leon and Merab were both these guys who went on these really long winning streaks. Maybe they weren't always the most exciting fights, but eventually they did more than
yeah,
enough to earn the shot. So you'd think that having gone through that themselves, they would give it to the guy who's next deserving, someone like Umar, and for Leon it was Bilal Muhammad who were on these long winning streaks. Regardless of the names, you're in the UFC. You win 8 to 10 fights in a row. That's hard to do. Umar, I'm pretty sure he's never lost.
yeah.
So it's just it makes you cringe a little bit to be like, dude, you were in the same position literally a year ago, and now you're doing,
You were
yeah,
complaining and
you're about
crying.
this, yeah, literally, yeah. It's like it's kind of embarrassing how hard you are trying not to get involved in that fight or even get some noise going in that fight. But eventually, I think the UFC is going to make that happen. Umar versus Merab.
That fight will happen at some point,
Yeah,
100%.
Piotr Jan. I mean, there's definitely one more fight. That sounds very good to say. One more fight, and you could only assume that he's back in there fighting for a title if he gets the victory his next time out. Against who? I don't know. I would like to see Suga personally. Um, no one else at 135 is really coming to mind for me at the moment.
Yeah, I mean, I was gonna say that maybe the rematch with Corey.
Yeah, could be, but I
I
mean,
don't know if that's
or
gonna grant him a title shot, but it just sucks because Sean's gonna be out a bit, and that fight really makes perfect sense. It's just not gonna happen
yeah,
anytime soon, unfortunately. It won't happen until, if anything, the very, very end of 2025, or I don't know
or
when Sean's gonna fight next.
or Cheeto Vera called out Piotr Jan.
Oh my God, dude, Cheeto would get.
The worst call out I've seen in quite some time.
I
I
don't care what
almost
anybody says. I'll die on this hill the day I die. Cheeto is so bad. Like, he actually sucks at mixed martial arts. I don't care what anybody says.
he
He
just
sucks.
he deceived me for a long time. He
Yeah, he's
really
just got
did.
a chin. He's got a chin. I mean, he okay. He doesn't actually. He sucks. No, I'm not even gonna try and say he doesn't
He
suck.
has a chin. He packs a punch. Who did he beat? He beat a very old Dominic Cruz. And then he
Terrible.
did piece up Rob Font. But regardless, we've already spent too much time talking about somebody who's not relevant at the moment. You know what is relevant though, PJ? As relevant as ever. UFC 310. Because that's coming up this weekend, this Saturday, over in Las Vegas, headlined by Alexandre Pantoja, taking on the debuting Kai Asakura, hailing from Japan's premier MMA organization, Ryzen. But before we get into that, PJ, I reckon this card's stacked from top to bottom. You know that as well as I do. Um, so I say we take a gander at this whole thing and we see what pops out and we just let the people know what's going on. What do you say?
I agree. I mean, it's actually crazy because there is at least a decent or big name, and in every single fight on the card, like there's not a single fight where, obviously, I would say a casual MMA fan who watches for fun probably won't know everybody, but for
Hmm.
like someone like us, like there are some names at every
Absolutely.
single fight. Starting with the first one, this is the only one where I'd say it's like, okay, do we really care? No, but Kennedy Zinchukwu, the guy who just murdered the GOAT Chris Barnett, that was pretty sad to watch. But he fights some guy, Lucas Brudsky. This guy's terrible. He's like 1-4 in the UFC. But okay,
Quick turnaround.
we don't even need
Very
to talk
quick.
about that one because
No.
that one's the only one where it's like, all right, who actually cares? But the next one, the second fight of the entire night is Chase Hooper versus Clay Guida. Bro,
We have said that name too many times since
I
we've
think that
started
has to
this
be our most
podcast.
mentioned. Yeah, we get more fight
Easily,
analysis on him than any other fighter in the
easily, yeah.
entire podcast.
We've done it to the point where I can't go into, oh, Clay Guida, he's been around the block. He's fought everybody. I can't do that anymore. You guys should fucking know that at this point.
They've heard it from us way too many
Even
times.
if you just started watching UFC with this podcast, you'll know the name Clay Guida somehow, some way.
I mean, that guy is everywhere. But he is actually
Chase,
a plus 700
yeah, that's
underdog.
whoa.
There's
I mean,
juice on that, let me tell
there
you.
is a little bit. I mean, Hooper's been hot lately, but Gita, he got the experience. Every now and then he pulls off a little savvy victory. So
Yeah, no, he it's
take a
it's
look.
it's crazy because they're 17 years apart from each other, which is one of the I think is that has to be
Jesus,
one of the largest age gaps in UFC
absolutely.
history. Or not Clay Guida. Chase Hooper is 6'1" and fights at lightweight. He's if anybody if you know him, he is a twig
Hmm.
at 155. And Guida, I'd say, is quite the opposite. He's 5'7" and he is
Thick.
stocky. It's going to be tough to take him down. I'm going to be
Hmm.
honest. I don't know. Clay Guida is probably the better strike. Not probably. He is the better striker than Chase Hooper. Chase Hooper is definitely more of a ground guy. So,
Hmm.
I mean, I don't know if we need to give a prediction on this one, but that's going to be quite interesting.
Yeah.
Seven, Hooper at minus 1,300 is crazy. The
Yeah,
disrespect to the
I
old
think
man.
that is disrespectful. I mean, because Chase Hooper, I mean, he's a young guy. I
Yeah,
think he's fought. What's his record?
It's
10 and
14,
3.
14 and 3 or something like that.
So for his age, he has good experience and a ton of experience inside the
For sure.
UFC. But I mean, Guida's just been around the block, and all the things you mentioned earlier about the grappling. I don't think there's that big of a discrepancy in grappling. Guida might have the edge in the striking, and Hooper can get hurt, man. I've seen him get damaged, and so it'll be interesting. That minus, yeah, that money line is definitely disrespectful. Maybe I'd toss like $3 on Guida just to see what happens, but
Dude, 3 for 21. I mean, that ain't
yeah,
bad. That ain't bad.
that is not too shabby. But moving up, we're talking about washed veterans. We got to talk about Mikey Chiesa here. Unfortunately, he is fighting this weekend again against the rising Max Griffin. I don't even know if I can say rising. What has Max Griffin done
He
lately?
was rising. I would say at one point he
Yeah,
was he was on a 3-fight win streak. Then he fought
yeah.
the greatest man ever coming off a loss. He fought Neil Magny in
Yeah.
2022, and that went down the
Real
drain. And then he
quick.
fought Michael Morales and somehow made it the distance. He hasn't lost to Schmucks. Well, maybe he has.
Yeah.
Maybe he has a bit ago, but his last two losses aren't terrible. He's solid. I what? No. Song Kanan, who hasn't knocked out Song Kanan? God damn, poor guy. Oh my God, Song Kanan is just on a generational run of getting slept by prospects.
But
Anyways,
I was gonna say Mikey Chiesa though, he's coming off the victory against the one and only Tony Ferguson, so that guy is hot as ever right now.
yeah,
Just beat the former interim champion. But no, Mikey Chiesa, he's been bad for a really long time.
battle of old farts. Let's just be
Yeah.
honest.
The
Griffin's
last,
39.
yeah,
Chiesa's 36. Chiesa looks like he's 53.
Chiesa's the younger of the two. I didn't even
Chiesa's
realize that.
never had a knockout in his entire mixed martial arts career.
That's
Maybe
absurd.
Saturday's the day.
Hey, first time for everything. Stranger things have happened, PJ. But we've already given this fight too much time of day, and I refuse to give it any more.
Right.
So moving on after that, we have Cody Durden versus Joshua Van, and again another sneaky good fight. This one's about even money. Joshua Van had a lot of hype going behind him for quite a bit. Cody Durden's not too bad himself. Van, I think, last time fought at the Sphere at UFC 300 against Chirez. Um,
Great fight.
Great bout.
One of the most entertaining fight. I mean, that entire card was
Yeah.
entertaining, but that fight in particular was absolutely absurd.
Hmm.
And Van has
Uh,
hit 5 fights in the UFC, and he's only 23 years old. He's a young gun. Like we always say, Roman and I say it every time, the flyweight fights are always the biggest sleeper. We have one in the main event, so you can't sleep on the flyweight division Saturday. But particularly on the undercard, whenever everyone sees them, like, all right, who are these little guys fighting? They're always good fights. This one in particular is going to be good. Cody Durden, he's ranked 14th. Joshua Van is unranked. He'll definitely be ranked at some point in his career. Not to diss, but it doesn't take a lot to be ranked in the flyweight division. There's not a lot of depth. Let's just be honest. Not a lot of depth. Great fights always, but the depth is not quite there. A lot of
True.
people probably didn't even know Cody Durden was ranked 14th, including myself until I looked up the rankings.
Until you told me right now, I didn't know.
Yeah, anyways, great fight coming up. We're
That'll
talking
be,
too much.
yeah,
Maybe
that'll
talking
be,
too much about these fights that no one actually cares about.
yeah. I mean, Chris
Next,
Weidman, why are you still fighting?
Weidman
Please
has
do
got to
it.
hang it up. This better be his last one.
I pray he loses. I pray, not because I dislike the guy, but just because he has to give it up. Eric
But
Anders.
Yeah, but now the next 9 fights, in my opinion, are all going to be bangers and all big names
Ooh.
in the UFC, starting with Randy Brown. I feel like this guy has been around for like 500 years and he's only 34. I honestly thought he was like 70. He's fighting the up-and-comer Brian Battle, who obviously, if you don't know, made a name for himself in his
Yes,
last time out
sir.
at the Moicano Saint Denis fight in UFC Paris. He had some interesting words to say. He's
Well,
sick.
he's not fighting a French dude this time out. He's fighting the Jamaican bad boy, Rude Boy Randy Brown, um, who's a vet. Brian Battle, obviously young. I'm in. I don't know what the line is on this one. You got it up there by chance?
Have what? The
Uh,
line? I
yeah.
just clicked off it. Randy Brown is plus
Uh,
180. Brian Battle's minus
yeah.
220 on
Yeah. I
ESPN.
mean, that makes a that makes sense to a certain point. I mean, Randy Brown 3 fight win streak ever since he lost to Jack Della Maddalena, which was almost 2 years ago at this point. He's
Yeah.
been on a tear, including a victory against Muslim Salikov, who we mentioned earlier, and then his
King of
last
Kung
time out.
Fu.
Yeah. So yeah, again, I think that line is a little generous. I mean, as much as I like Brian Battle,
It
you
is.
have to respect Randy Brown. But if the Butcher is to get the Rude Boy, I am very excited to see what he has in the future because that is a hell of a test. I think Randy Brown is the new age Neil Magny. I think he, I think he will be carrying the torch for Neil Magny because unfortunately Magny has now lost back-to-back fights. So I think his era is coming to an
His
end.
time might be up.
Yeah, I think if Brian Battle, actually now that I think about it, I think Brian Battle takes this one.
He
I
might, but Brian Battle gets hit easily. He doesn't
mm,
really move his head. In his last fight, in particular, he took a lot of punishment to eventually deal the fight-ending punishment. But I don't know. It'll be interesting. Randy Brown's kind of a more he's a lengthy dude. He's 6'3". It's 6'3", 170. That's pretty long, skinny dude. It'll be interesting to see how that one goes because I could really see it going either way. But the
I
next
hear
fight, I don't understand. This is
the
actually the
disrespect.
ultimate disrespect. Because yes, both these guys, you can definitely argue and would probably agree that they're very boring to watch. But these guys are both very, very good at not maybe not mixing the martial art. They're just very good mixed martial artists.
Yeah.
And the fact that this fight is on the prelims and Crone Gracie is on the main card is very disrespectful,
The
in my
disrespect, but
personal opinion. We're talking about, I believe he's ranked fifth in the featherweight division. Movsar Evloev versus the former reigning 135 champion Aljamain Sterling. I think we got to give a prediction for this one because
absolutely.
this has some high stakes in the featherweight division. This is probably not a number one contender fight yet, but the winner of this is probably one fight away from the title.
Well, in my opinion, this is the most 50-50 fight on the card, and I don't think the odds speak to that too much. PJ, you are a long-time listener to the podcast, are you not? Yes, you are. And you know my history with Aljamain Sterling. In fact, you know that I bet on him to lose against Piotr Jan, against TJ Dillashaw, against Henry Cejudo. And then when I finally said, you know what, Aljamain Sterling, you're going to win this one when you take on Sean O'Malley 1 year and 3 months ago, he fucking blew it. He blew it. Fortunately, he came back at 145 and took out Cater. And I think
Oh, my
if there
mother's
was one,
coming. My mother's coming downstairs. This is about to get loud.
oh, Kim Cat is. I just saw Kim Cat at the Y the other day with
I know, she
Nicole.
told me.
Oh my gosh. Can you believe Nicole is a junior in high school?
Cannot.
And I asked her, they came up to me, I go, Nicole, are you in high school now? She goes, yeah, I'm a junior. I was like, oh
That,
shit.
that sounds like, yep.
She was like, yeah, I drive now. I was like,
Yeah.
that's good for you.
Well, anyways,
Uh,
sorry. Just
Send her
give
my
a
love.
warning there.
No worries about it. Always forgiven when it's Kim Katona. Um, but you know whom I can't forgive, PJ, and Mosvar of Evloev,
I think it's Evloev, but I honestly have no idea.
not worth pronunciating correctly. Why? Because he puts on stinkers, PJ. He really puts on stinkers. The last good fight, I mean, the Arnold Allen fight was his last one. It was 10 months ago. It wasn't a boring fight, but I remember on that card, I can't remember exactly which one it was. It was absolutely the most boring fight of the card.
Yeah, that
So,
was at the beginning of the year. Actually, that was the first pay-per-view of the year. That
mm,
was Strickland versus
yeah,
Duplessis.
yeah. That was a real stinker of a freaking card. And then before that, Diego Lopez. That's where he made his name for
That
himself.
was a
Crazy,
fun fight.
crazy to think that's only a year and a half ago that we were first introduced to Diego Lopez on the UFC stage. Um, but regardless, the tail of the tape here is these guys are both grapplers. The question is, does the grappling neutralize and we see a stand-up fight? I don't know. If it is a stand-up fight, it's going to be the sloppiest 15 minutes of striking you're ever going to see, it, I think, because these guys are not
Yeah.
very polished in that department. Evloev, I've seen some nifty stuff from him on the feet from time to time. Aljo, I don't think I've ever looked at Aljamain throw a strike and thought, wow, that looks pretty. He lunges when
Yeah.
he fights. That got him into trouble versus Suga. But
Yeah.
when he takes your back, PJ, the round's over. That's what everyone
Yeah.
says.
No, he's a big dude. Obviously, everybody kind of questioned like, how does this dude make 135 consistently? Because he's a big, big dude. And yeah, now he is moving up to 145, where I still feel like he's a pretty decent sized dude for that division. I don't think I see this being a stand-up fight. I just don't think that's Aljo's style. I don't know. This one's going to be interesting. I'm going to have to wait till after the first grappling exchange before I
Yeah.
can really get a grasp on who I think's going to win. Because if Ivloev can just kind of, drag out the fight, I just don't. I don't know if I see him being able to hold down Aljo like that. I feel like Aljo is too strong to just be
But,
bullied like that for 15 minutes.
but I can see a scenario in which I'm telling you, once Aljo takes your back, man, he is hard to get
Yeah.
off. I mean, they call him the backpack for a reason. And it's only a 3 round fight. So if Aljo can find a way to get
Nope, screw
Evloev's
that.
back
Screw that.
twice,
Sterling's gonna win.
yeah, let's take. I'm riding with you on Sterling. Sterling,
Sterling's gonna
for
win.
Jesus Christ, can once, man, I'm trying to root for you. I'm trying. I try to make
Yeah,
myself a fan of you.
he's definitely gonna lose now that you said
He's
it.
gonna fucking
I
lose
think
here.
he's gonna.
Yeah.
I was 50-50 on it, so screw it. I'll go with Aljo. He is a big. I can see him. I can see him kind of not ragdolling, but just being straight up just stronger than Ivloev.
I just pray that we get some excitement out of this one. I think we will.
I
I'm
think
holding out hope.
I actually think we will, and even if we
Yeah.
don't, it's going to be high level grappling exchanges on the feet, on the ground. I would hope the feet. I don't know what the hell's going to happen on the feet. I actually have no idea what.
Yeah, that's
If
gonna
this
be
is
tough.
15 minutes on the feet, this could be the weirdest fight of all time.
Well, weird. Vicente Luque's fighting. He's taking
I,
out Themba Garumbo.
who really cares?
Skip. He was supposed to fight Nick Diaz. Nick Diaz can't hop off the drugs, unfortunately. Um, Anthony Smith versus Dominic Reyes, a fight you would think is a rematch from 2018. It's not. We got a fresh matchup here. It's happening in 2024, live
Somehow
and
they
living
haven't fought
color.
each other.
Yeah, literally. Dominic Reyes finally got a victory his last time out. Anthony Smith took an L against Roman Dolidze. That was short notice, so props to him. But before that, he took on the contending Vitor Petrino, and he got a victory over him. Both these guys' records in their last 5 is not great. Not great whatsoever. So it's going to be fun to see these old bastards get after it. Dominic Reyes, heavy favorite. I don't know why. He's so chinny.
Ginny, but let's just be. I mean, Anthony Smith kind of throws punches in slow motion nowadays. So
That is true.
Dominic Reyes looked very quick in his last fight against Dustin Jacoby. Part of me wants to just say, like, Dominic Reyes still has a bit of it in him. He's very chinny, but this is a favorable matchup for him, in my opinion, because Smith isn't a hard hitter anymore.
Yeah.
I don't know if he ever really was. I guess he probably was, maybe back in the day. Both these dudes contended and fought John Jones for the belt, and both gave a great fight. To this day, a lot of people are pretty convinced that Dominic Reyes beat John Jones. Then Anthony Smith could have actually held the belt over John
Yeah.
Jones. He got the illegal blow to the head, and he could have taken the belt Aljamain Sterling style, but he didn't. Um,
That's the only thing that gives me the slightest respect for Anthony Smith, that he did not bow out of that fight.
yeah, no, I would have to agree. I'm going to go Dominic Reyes by decision on this one.
I'm going to take Dominic Reyes as well, but I could see a scenario in which he scores a TKO. KO. But that'll actually be a good one. Regardless of what I was saying earlier, that is a fight that
I'm actually kind of excited to watch
yeah,
that.
I look forward to tune into. But one that you should have circled, One that it's the reason that it's headlining the prelims. It's Nate the Train, baby, taking on Superboy Do Hoo Choi. Nate Landwehr taking on Do Hoo Choi,
It sounded like
and
Mike Goldberg when you said
that's what
that.
I was going for. Hey, you said it, not me. You said it. Bring
That
back
was a good one.
Mike
Good one.
Goldberg, dude. Bring back Mike Goldberg. Every time I watch those old fights, and here we go. I'm like,
It really
ish,
was, but
yeah.
who would you boot off, and who would you boot off the main
I'm
three?
sorry. I'm sorry. I'd boot Anik. I'd boot Anik for
Dude,
Goldie
no,
in a
you can't. You
heartbeat. I
cannot boo it.
would.
No way.
They do the same job, aren't they? They're both the play
Yeah.
by yeah, or the color comment. I don't know. They're one or the other. But yeah,
No, they are actually. You can't, dude. Anik is so sick though.
Anik is great.
They
Anik
should
is
just switch
great.
off.
Anik is more of he's a more of a colorful talker, I would say, like in terms of this is not the cloth from which he is cut, that sort of thing. And Goldberg is more like classic, like broadcast. Who's the guy who goes bang? I don't know how I'm
Mike
blinking on his.
Breen.
Yeah, he's more of like a Mike Breen type
He is.
commentator, I think.
That's tough.
Gosh,
That is a tough one.
but man, this fight's a tough one to pick, BJ. Nate the Train, baby, always in wars, always brings the fight. Probably a Republican, definitely voted for Trump. Who cares, man? He fucking brings the heat every time he's out there. Superboy Do Hoo Choi, I think he's already in the Hall of Fame from one of his fights. Yes, I think it was his fight versus Cub Swanson. That fight got inducted into the UFC Hall of Fame not too long ago.
That was all the way back in
Um,
2016. Oh my
yeah,
goodness.
it's crazy. Yeah, I was only 14 at the time. But I can't actually give you a sincere analysis of Du Hu Choi because, as PJ was saying, I mean, he's been around the block for a little bit, and he took a 3-year leave from the UFC until he
Yeah.
came back just a little bit less than 2 years ago. So I haven't seen a whole lot of him. I'm not gonna lie to you guys. But Nate the Train, I know he is tough as nails. And he's a
Yeah.
slight favorite going into this one, so I think I'm going to lean towards him, but I'm interested to see what you have to say, PJ.
Yeah, no, like it's very hard. He's obviously he fought this year in a July card when it was Lemos versus Jandaroba was the main event in that one. Um, I remember I
What?
actually did watch it because I remember Du Ho Choi. He had a knockout against some schmuck, some guy named
Legend.
Bill. Some guy named Bill. Oh my god. He knocked out Bill in July, and yeah, that was his first win since like 2016.
Yeah.
I can't really say I can give an analysis on Duho either. Duho Choi. I'm gonna rock with Nate Land just because Nate the Train. Obviously, he fought Dan Ige, and that was kind of what brought his hype
Mm.
train down just a bit because he had won three in a row, and then he
Took on like a real tough test.
yeah, I'm trying to see. Oh yeah, it was David Onama when I remember when he fought him. That was one of the greatest
Oh,
fights.
great fight. Great fight.
But yeah, I'm just gonna go Nate Landwehr. I'm gonna go by decision. I'm going with a lot of decisions here.
Yeah, I was going to say, hella D, PJ. You're
Well,
tossing around hella
this
D.
is the first one of the main card, but we're gonna start it off with the decision. I think Landwehr just might be a bit quicker. We'll see though.
Okay.
We'll see.
Well, now that we're done with all this decision talk, PJ, why don't you tell me how Bryce Mitchell's going to finish Kron Gracie?
Oh man, that fight sucks.
That fight is terrible.
Ron Gracie, first round knockout. You heard it here first. Probably gonna be
Uh,
like plus 500,000 on any sporting app. Bet
it's
sports
actually
app.
it's actually absurd that the line for Bryce Mitchell and Kron Gracie is closer than the line between Chase Hooper and Clay Guida. That's absurd to me. Kron Gracie, I'm sure you've heard the Gracie name. He's heavy on jiu-jitsu. His last time out, he looked terrible against Charles Jourdain. Absolutely terrible. Ended up going to decision because Gracie was just scooting on his butt the whole time. You sleeping on me, pal? You tired of this? You tired of this
Ron
already?
Gracie and Ron Gracie and Chito Vera are the two worst fighters in the entire UFC, and it's not even close.
Come on, dude.
Those two should just fight next. I don't even
That
care, dude.
that is
Chrome
hot.
Gracie is absolute. He is dust. He is dust. Bryce Mitchell, I hope you can TKO him with ground and pound or just submit him in like round two because I don't want to watch 15 minutes of Chrome Gracie. He sucks so bad. I'll go second round Bryce Mitchell TKO.
But the reason, just quickly, because again, I don't want to spend too much time on this. The reason that they're even making this matchup is because it's like, in theory, Bryce Mitchell's grappling versus Kron Gracie should
I
make the
get what
fight
they
a
were
little
trying
bit
to do.
even.
I
But
do.
yeah, again, it's not 1990 anymore. Guys know how to wrestle jiu-jitsu and how to strike. And Bryce Mitchell, I think, would be an idiot to not use his striking against Kron Gracie, because Kron Gracie's striking is literally zero. From what I've seen, it's zero.
I
So,
think I think I'd have a chance at a boxing fight with Ron Gracie, if I'm being honest with you.
no, 145 too. Drain him on the scale, you got him.
He's awful.
Next fight though, it's your boy PJ. Why don't you take it away? Why don't you take it away? The next fight.
Wait, what was your prediction on
Oh,
on
sorry. Gosh,
the
I don't.
dumpster fire?
I'll give Bryce Mitchell. I'll take him by second round TKO. I
Nice.
literally think Gracie's just gonna give up.
Same
That's
pick.
what I think.
Same pick
Yeah.
here. But next fight, future champion or as John Jones would say, Cyril Gane versus Alexander Volkov. This fight already happened once. Nothing's gonna be different here. Cyril, we know he is slick on the feet. I said he was gonna be a champion. He technically was. He was an interim champion. Obviously, hasn't held the undisputed belt yet. Probably might need John Jones to retire and Aspinall to wipe off the face of the earth for it to happen. But hey,
Yeah.
one
Never
day
say
it will
never.
happen, and I'm going to say, I told you so. Yeah, they fought in 2021 in the, I believe that was an Apex fight. I saw it live because this is the first fight where I was actually like, oh my God, I actually do think Cyril's going to be the undisputed champ. Him and Aspinall are probably the new breed of heavyweights where, we have these lighter guys that are just absurdly quick and athletic. And not too much more I'm going to say here because my boy is going to win. Is he going to knock out Volkov? I don't think so. I hate to say it. I don't think so. I think it's going to be another just kind of pinpoint, be smart with it. Keep the fight. If Volkov was smart, he would shoot for a takedown, even though he's like 9 feet tall and it's a long way to the ground for him.
Yeah.
I'll go Cyril Gane by UD. I've been yapping a lot this episode. I don't know why.
Yeah,
I'm like,
you are on a.
here's the thing. If
You
I'm being
just get.
completely honest, I'm partially yapping because I start talking and then I have the Diaz versus McGregor fight going on back here. So I'm
Yeah,
talking and then I'm
no
just like
shit.
trying to keep the conversation going while watching it. So I apologize. I have been yapping way too much. I'm going to go Cyril Gane by UD. He's going to be champion today.
Yeah, hopefully. I mean, I'm gonna take Cyril Gane as well. Unfortunately, even though I really like Alexander Volkov,
I do too.
I really do, and he's on a good win streak right now. Took out Sergey Pavlovich, who literally less than a year ago people were terrified to fight. But I mean, the younger man usually tends to win quicker in the rematches. So I'm gonna take Cyril Gane to score a TKO KO victory in the third round. I am.
Girls going to put on a masterclass.
I hope so. But man, we're moving up in the card. I don't know why. Also, I did this the last time. I did this for UFC 309. I said Nate Landwehr versus Doo Ho Choi was the main event of the prelims. It's the opening fight of the main card.
Oh, I didn't even hear you say that, to be honest.
Yeah.
But
Did we give our prediction for that? Did we say we're going Nate? Or I'm going Nate the Train. I'll take Nate the Train by decision. I think.
I also took, I had Nate by decision as well. I didn't even hear you say that, to be honest, but yeah.
Yeah.
Um,
But either way.
Big fight in the next one. It doesn't happen very often. We've got two guys that are unbeaten in the same division now fighting for an interim belt because obviously this is supposed to be Belal versus Shavkat as the main event.
Wait, no interim belt. Just for number one contender.
Oh, sorry. Don't know why I said that. But regardless, we have ourselves a battle of the undefeateds. Ian Gary versus Shavkat Rakhmonov. I mean, this could be a main event, obviously, just due to the fact that these dudes are both young. They're both undefeated. They're both up-and-comers. Sorry, I was reading that. I think it is for the interim belt.
No. Where did you see that? Are you sure? I don't think. Where did you see that? I know it's for.
Have UFC legend in his corner for interim title showdown against Shavkat Rakhmonov.
I read that it was just a number one contender fight. Oh, you're looking at the Daily Mail?
I thought, no, I mean, yeah, I looked at that, but I thought maybe it is just, I don't know why I had this.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure it's just a number one contender because Bilal is almost relatively healthy at this point.
Oh, is he? Maybe, I don't know why I thought I saw that.
You're spreading propaganda on the podcast. I do not appreciate that, PJ.
I suppose I am.
You are. But regardless of this, we know that the winner of this fight is fighting for the title next. And we know that these guys are both special talents. But when you look at just straight up paper, and even in the paper and the eye test, it would lead you to believe that Shavkat Rakhmonov is rightfully so a heavy favorite in this fight. 18-0, all 18 coming by finish, has never gone to decision in his career, versus Ian Gary, who's coming off a pair of boring decisions. His 3 fights ago, he had a decent performance against Neil Magny, but it's been over a year and a half since he secured a finish. So I'm not gonna, we could get into the X's and O's, the punches and the kicks, but I'm just gonna tell you straight up, I think Shavkat Rakhmonov is just too much man, too much of a brute is gonna be too much of a brute for Ian Machado Gary. But I'm curious to see what you think. Do you think the future can shock everybody and get one over on Shavkat?
I I feel like he definitely could. It's just a matter of will he actually execute. Yeah, this fight is not for the interim belt like I really thought it. I don't know why I thought it was for so long. I guess I just assumed that it was because the Bilal pulled out, but I'm an idiot, I guess. Yeah, no, like you said, Ian Gary, obviously everybody knew him for being dude, I can't speak, a slick striker. Um, and then he obviously put up two stinker boring fights in his last two. Especially versus MVP. A lot of people were like, "All right, this is going to be fun, stand up
Yeah.
fight." And MVP made Gary turn into a wrestler because MVP is just absurdly quick on the feet. Nothing really else. Nothing to be said about Shavkat. I mean, he just finishes. He mauls people. He either
Yeah.
stand up, sub. I mean, he's a natural born killer. I really do want to say I think Ian Gary is going to win. I just don't know if he's got it because of the fact that if he doesn't outstrike Shavkat, he doesn't have the advantage on the feet on the ground, in my opinion.
Yeah. And it's also 5 rounds too. I could see a scenario if it was 3 rounds that Machado can just kind of stick and move as he has done in his past couple fights, but across
Yeah,
5 rounds, I just think Shavkat's going to get a hold of him eventually. Either get a hold of him or just start wearing on him, and he's willing to eat a few in order to
but that's what I was going to say though is the fact Shavkat does get hit a little bit when he
Mhm.
stands on the feet. He let Jeff Neal hit him pretty hard. Obviously, Jeff Neal hits absurdly hard.
Yeah.
So he didn't go down against Jeff Neal. Would he go down against a guy like Gary? Maybe Gary's definitely quicker. Um,
Gary. I'm sorry.
holy, that was not what I was expecting you to say. I don't know. This one's tough. I'm gonna lean probably Shavkat, but I'll be honest. I won't say I'm gonna be surprised if Ian Gary gets this one done, just because I think he has. I do think he has what it takes to be a title contender. I'm not sure if he'll be a champion one day. I thought he had a chance to be champion on Saturday until now, but clearly he doesn't.
Yeah.
I'll go Shavkat by like fourth round. Dude, is Ian Gary really gonna get finished?
He
Ah,
could. I'm gonna say, yeah. Well, I'll go and
nah,
I'll
screw
say I
that. I'm
think.
gonna go third round. Shavkat TKO. I think he either ground and pound or he just lands a big one and Gary gets tired. I'm gonna go Shavkat third round TKO.
Hmm. This is interesting to think about. Do I think he can get a sub on him? His last 3 fights have all been finished by sub. It's been a while
Yeah,
since he scored a knockout.
he very well could be. I'm in between on like him knocking him down and ground and pounding, or in between on him just jumping on his back. So
I
I'm
think I'm gonna go sub. I'm gonna go sub, and I'm gonna go
gonna cover
sub,
both.
and I'm gonna go sub third round. Yeah,
All right, both got third round. You got sub. I got knockout.
yeah.
Third round, it's gonna happen.
Mm.
Better finish in the third round.
Yeah. And now to go to the main event of the evening. PJ mentioned it earlier. We got some flyweights in the main event. Now, maybe you don't know who Alexandre Pantoja is necessarily. And if you don't know who he is, I'm pretty confident in saying that you don't know who Kai Asakura is. But regardless, guys, look at the scale. Look at the division that they're fighting at 125. I mean, not to be what is it, a dead horse, because we've said this many times, but flyweights will always deliver on some banging fights, and I think we're in for a big one here. We have Alexandre Pantoja taking on Kai Asakura for the flyweight championship. Kai has the opportunity to become the first fighter to win the UFC title in his debut. The only one really afforded this opportunity, I'm pretty sure. And the first opportunity to become the first Japanese world champion.
Somebody else fought in their for the championship in their debut. I literally just oh my god, who was it?
I think, and as I was saying it, I kind of thought about it. I think it might be Dan Henderson when he took on Quinton Jackson, because
That sounds familiar.
Dan Henderson was the Pride champion at the time. Jackson was the UFC champion, or one or the other, and that's when the UFC had bought in Pride, so they were unifying the belts. That's the only thing I could think of, but I could be wrong. Could be wrong.
I'm looking it up. I can't. I swear somebody did. I think it might have been that, to be honest. But I mean, Michael Chandler almost fought for the belt when he in
Fucking,
in his
he,
debut. That would have been
he is,
crazy to see.
he is
But
lame. He's lame as shit.
I
um,
can't find it right now. Anyways, yeah, no, he's getting the debut title shot. I'd say rightfully so. He's a massive name. He carries a massive following with him
mhm.
to the UFC. Obviously, like you said, he has a massive following in Japan. Um, I can't say I've watched him a lot, but I saw his last win he had in it'll be almost a year from now. He fought December 30th, 2023.
Mhm.
Knocked out his opponent in the second round for the belt. Yeah, I don't know. This is a tough one because Pantoja I feel like is almost like unfinishable. He hasn't ever been finished in his career. He's been hit hard many times in his career. It's just screw it. I gotta go Pantoja. I think Pantoja just kind of outdogs him in this one. I think he's gonna get hit. He's gonna get tagged. Fight's gonna go to the ground. Fight's gonna be on the feet. I think, like we said, it's a flyweight fight. We're gonna see a lot of mixed martial arts in this fight. I just think Pantoja's gas tank is just way too much.
Yeah.
Arguably the best in the division. I'm gonna go Pantoja by UD, but a very exciting UD. Not just like UD. We're talking UD. You know what I'm saying?
For sure, bro. But no, I honestly, your analysis is pretty much on par with what I would have told you. I think Pantoja he just has proven that he's just able to push that extra mile. He can take the hits. He can
Ridiculous.
look dead tired and still just willingly walk straight towards you. Knows how to get a takedown when he needs to, and I think he's going to need to get a couple here against Kai Asakura because I'm pretty sure that guy is a dangerous, dangerous striker.
Very dangerous. It's just
Um,
hard for me to go on him in the debut
yeah.
over a guy who's been reigning for a while now.
Another thing of note, Asakura was actually fighting at bantamweight over in Ryzen. He's dropping down to make flyweight. It looks like he's shredded right now. He's 5'8", so he's gonna have a pretty good height advantage in there. And he is the younger fighter. So I mean, if the weight cut's not too bad, he's certainly gonna be the bigger athlete in there. All that's to say, I'm also gonna go with Alexandre Pantoja, the cannibal against
Yeah.
Kai Sakura. I'm going to take him by. Man, I could see Kai Sakura with the weight cut getting tired later in the fight. So I might take Pantoja by a late submission, maybe fourth or fifth round.
I like that.
I'll go fifth round Pantoja by KO TKO. I think somehow, some way he just tires out Asakura. And
I like it. Fun fact, and I knew this and I forgot to say it. Manel Cape actually knocked out Kai Asakura back in 2019 for the belt in Ryzen, and I think that's where obviously Manel Cape ended up getting awarded a contract to the UFC shortly. Yeah, literally the fight after he knocked out Asakura. Then in his debut he fought Pantoja and lost. So
who
fun
doesn't
fact
lose to
there.
who does not lose to Pantoja? Everyone
Yeah,
loses.
Pantoja is on a generational run right now, but
Um, well, I mean, I would love to see Asakura win. I think it'd be really exciting to see somebody like that come
it
over
would be
and
cool.
do well. And I think he will do well. I think he's definitely going to put up a hell of a fight. There's no way
I
he's
think it's
going.
gonna be yeah, it's gonna be a great fight. It's just
Yeah,
like we're both saying, I do think Pantoja is gonna have to make this one. I mean, he makes every fight ugly, but
yeah.
especially this one, he's gonna have to make it ugly because, like you said, Asakura is the longer fighter. He's definitely dangerous on the feet. So I think Pantoja's got to get on the inside, get some clinch going, get some short, uppercuts, elbows, knees, just the
The whole
Brazilian way.
enchilada.
He's gonna make it ugly, and he's gonna make it entertaining and ugly.
Well, I look.
John Jones really submitted Cyril Gane in like 2 minutes, huh?
Did you just watch that fight in like 2 seconds?
My TV's just playing random stuff right now
Autoplay,
and then.
yeah, I love that shit. I used to do it all the time back in my college days. Just
Just
throw it
leave it
on.
on in the background. Yeah,
Yeah,
look at John. But
PJ,
anyways, yeah,
I play you in fantasy football this week.
I don't care. I'm already out of the playoffs.
You are
I'm just gonna
sorry.
bench. I'm just gonna bench my. Actually, no, I'm not, because you're gonna end the regular season with a loss.
No, dude, you gotta make sure I have the most points, dude. I need all the money in the world. I see you got
You didn't
Caleb
even earn
Williams.
that. You don't even deserve that money. That's the thing.
See, that's what I'm worried about here. I'm worried that I ride off into the sunset with my winnings, and then all I have is a bunch of losers behind me telling me that I didn't earn it.
You didn't earn jack. You didn't do anything. You didn't even draft your team.
But I traded with you, you fucking fool. So how about that?
Yeah, now you're
And
wide
now,
receiver. Now you're best wide receiver. Well, now now you have to start Debo Samuel. So good for you.
what is worse than that, actually?
I can't believe I had to in the long run it doesn't make sense, but I had to trade Nico Collins as well because
You fucking gaslit me, dude. You piece of shit.
dude, not really though.
No, I'm not mad at the trade. Jacoby Myers, great guy. He's been putting up numbers when I
He's
need him.
very solid, and James Cook is also very solid.
James
James Cook's putting
Cook.
up the same number. He's doing better than Kyron Williams.
Yeah, I mean, if I didn't have James, yeah, he is doing better than Kyron Williams. And if I didn't have him, I'd be kind of screwed
Let's see.
because J.K. Dobbins just went on IR.
Yeah, I mean Kyron is the number 9 running back, and Cook is number 12. So I mean they're very
Yeah,
similar. And then I got Nico. I wouldn't have traded Nico, but I had to because I needed a win out to make the playoffs, and Nico has a bye next week. So I wouldn't. You would be playing against Nico anyways, even if I did have him.
Jesus.
But
Who?
enough about
Oh,
that.
but
Nobody
but you
cares.
get. Yeah, no one cares.
No one
I just
cares
want
about
to point out that I hope I fucking kick your
it.
ass
Roman and I
next week.
do play each other, and I'm gonna kick his ass.
No,
I'm
dude.
starting Caleb Williams against you, and I don't care. I literally don't care.
I saw that. I actually shout that. I mean, you look at his last few games. I mean, 26,
Dude,
26,
he's a future
16.
Super Bowl champion. He's going to do it. He's putting up 20 fantasy points against the 49ers.
The 49ers are fucking weak, so give him a
Yeah, they
chance.
do have Debo Samuel.
If someone's gonna, he's due for a big
He
one.
is due for a big game, I'm not going to lie.
You're gonna eat your damn
A
words.
revenge game, Debo Samuel, I will literally be so pissed.
All right then,
All right, we got to
PJ.
stop yapping about this. Nobody cares.
I gotta get
Besides-
going. It's fucking work hours.
Yeah, all right, real quick, let's review our picks. Obviously, myself, I have Nate Landwehr by UD. I have Bryce Mitchell by second round TKO, Cyril Gahn by UD, Shavkat by third round TKO, and Alexandre Pantoja by UD.
Yes, PJ. I like that a lot. I think we have. Yeah, I think we're we're going for all the same people here because I'm going Nate Landwehr by UD. I'm taking Bryce Mitchell second round TKO. I'm taking Cyril Gahn third round TKO. I'm taking Shavkat third round sub, and I'm taking Pantoja fifth round TKO. A lot of TKOs and finishes here. I'll probably end up eating my words on that, but I feel pretty confident that those 5 guys will be getting their hand raised, and I was confident last time out, went 5 for 5. That's not true. Calvin Silva won, lost, but whatever. Regardless, very good card, top to bottom. I highly recommend that you guys tune in, and also highly recommend that you guys check us out on the socials, on Instagram at the Split Decision Pod, on Twitter at PodSplitDEC, and on TikTok. I always forget the TikTok, PJ. What is it? You tell the people. Let them know.
All right, TikTok, it is Split Decision Pod, I believe. Let me look it up real quick. Yeah, Split Decision Pod. We got 30,000 likes on the account. We only got 126 followers. We need to get to 1,000 so we can go live on TikTok and yap with you guys.
We're getting closer day by day, pal.
Dude, in the last week, we've had like 1,000 people view our profile. Nobody's clicking the red button to follow. Though. What are we doing?
Dude, we got to get more content out there. And
We got to get some more clips. We're going to make a lot of clips from this, put it on the TikTok. So, yeah, like you said, if you don't want to watch us yap for now, if you made it this far, good for you. But if you haven't, we'll be posting these clips on TikTok. Maybe I'll start posting clips on Twitter, too. We'll see. But, yeah. Any closing remarks?
Fuck all those dorks on Twitter who said that Marty, fake newsman, arguably.
Oh, yeah, I forgot about that.
Not a real thing. That guy's a
Sometimes I
loser.
want to argue on my main account about UFC. I'm like, screwed. We have a TikTok account, or a podcast. I'll just go argue for the podcast.
Yeah. The worst thing is that I reply, and then I have the Split Decision Pod in my bio, so they probably think I'm the fucking guy running the
Yeah,
Twitter.
you chirping from two accounts.
Yeah. Regardless, dude, thank you guys. It's great to freaking be back. We'll be back again next week for sure to give you guys the rundown of what happens this upcoming weekend and look forward to the future. So you guys take
Sure.
care, and we will see you at the top.